Recording.
Hi, my name is Yuridia de la Cruz and I am a student at Northeastern University. We are here today with Javier Quiñones and I am going to be conducting a short interview regarding our topic, separation of families caused by immigration. Now, Jay, my first question is, I understand that you're a Puerto Rican and therefore you're born a U.S. citizen. However, you married an undocumented immigrant. So what needs to be done to legalize your spouse?
Well, sadly, by marrying an undocumented immigrant, they don't immediately become citizens. One has to go through a process through the Homeland Security Department and the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, where you first send an application and you do have submit documentation to prove to the government, number one, that you guys are really married. Number two, that there is a sponsor or that the spouse applying for their undocumented spouse is financially capable of sustaining that person without the help of the government. So they have some poverty guidelines that one has to be above so that they will even accept the application process, which is by itself pretty expensive.
Okay. So I don't understand. If you are legalizing your wife, which is what all American people want, for people to be legalized or legal in this country, how is it that then families get separated in the process?
Okay, well, in our case, we're going to be, and we're talking about undocumented immigrants. An undocumented immigrant is a person that enters the United States, as they call it, without inspection or without a visa or without documentation. Where the families get separated, and in our case, my wife was already living with me in the United States. We had already had one baby that was born in the United States, so it affected my son and me being U.S. citizens to deal with this matter. What people don't understand is that in this legalization process, when a person comes in the United States without that inspection, the process requires that the person returns to their country. In our case, Mexico. When the person returns to their country, that's when a clock starts, and it's supposed to be a 10-year clock, during which time that person is penalized for having entered the United States without inspection or illegally. Now, many people are able to apply for what they call a waiver of that penalty, or some people call it a pardon. However, to apply for that pardon, the immigrant has to prove that the U.S. citizen spouse or child is going to go to extreme hardship if that person is not allowed back in the United States. Now, they do not consider the simple fact of the separation as extreme, which is in itself inhuman. Okay? You have to prove, for example, I had to prove as a U.S. citizen that it would be extremely hard for me to move to Mexico, start a career again in Mexico, we had to prove that my son would not enjoy the education that he as a U.S. citizen could enjoy in the United States. And the problem is that that has to be completely documented, and it has to be for the person to be able to come back to the United States within months. It has to be documented in a way where the immigration officer has to find cause to approve that application within 10 to 15 minutes. This, for example, is the packet that we presented. So you have to write the first few pages, have to explain what is your hardship, and then submit all the exhibits that support that hardship. If they don't find within those 10 to 15 minutes enough cause to approve your application, your packet gets sent to the regular package, which could entail a evaluation that could be 18 months. Okay. Within those 18 months, you should get approved if nothing else goes bad.
Okay. How long were you separated from your wife and your son?
In our case, it took 4 months and about 3 visits to the Ciudad Juarez of U.S. immigration facilities just to get past the fingerprinting process. Okay. After that, we went back again to the waiver appointment, and with this packet, they did not find within 10 to 15 minutes that they should have granted this, so they sent it to the packet, and after I did, many diligences and efforts to Congress people from my district, etc., I think that was what helped for them to be able to grant us the waiver within 13 months.
So you were separated for 13 months?
13 months, that cost me to go see my family every 2 months. Those expenses caused a personal bankruptcy, caused me a lot of depression. I had to document it with a clinical psychiatrist so that they would also consider that. It cost me the loss of 2 properties. It was an awful year.
Okay. Okay, but she's here now.
She's here now. We got through the process, and it's great, but the government could do something to change how the way this is dealt with. I had a wife that was in the Chicago area. They have an office in the Chicago area. We had a kid that was born in the Chicago area. We had a home. Having to, for all 3 of us, to travel to break the family income and the family economy in 2 so that she could live over there and I could live over here during that time. It was totally unnecessary. Obama keeps saying that he cannot do anything because Congress doesn't want to, or the Republicans or whatever. He does have the power to give instructions so that things could be done within the way the law is written right now, but just in a different way. It's just managed in a way that it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank you, Javier, for taking the time to answer these questions and for sharing your story with us. And this concludes our interview.
You're very welcome. Thank you.